As I got down onto I-5.
5 in Mission Viejo, 72 in Seal Beach, 68 in Baldwin Park, and 60 in Santa Clarita. We lead local from KFI's 24-hour newsroom. I'm Michael Chappé.
Thank you. Super Hyper Local Sunday with Brian Suits.
I had the volume down.
Looks like we're coming to stop out here. The door is open. This guy is getting out of the vehicle. He's got a gun. He has got a gun. Yeah, this is not going to end very well.
That's why I'm looking.
Brian Suits on KFI. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. It is Super Hyper Local Sunday. Brian Suits in here till 10 p.m. with everything that you need to know. The wrap-up in the Southland from, let's call it, Lompoc down to San Diego. The 19 million people that live in Southern California, of course, come here every Sunday night for all the local farm news, garage sale updates. We are your Tri-County news leader. And so we do open with some breaking news. If you're on the 55, there's I'm going to say it's a Piper Comanche. With my limited knowledge of civil aviation, I'm going to say that a Piper Comanche has landed on the 55. But I'm not sure, news maven Michael Chappé, where on the 55 is this? And I am, well, hey, Google Maps, it helps if you open up with the traffic layer. Dorks. Oh, look at that. It's on me. So you're saying, oh, I see it. It's the blood red part. So anyway, if you're on, yeah, so you mean just north of Costa Mesa? Is it? Okay. So if you think you're going to get on 55 southbound or northbound off of 73 or even off the 405, then you need to know that you shouldn't. North of the 405, if you're on 405 and you want to go north on the 55, you're good, you're golden. But if you want to go south towards Newport Beach, there is an aeroplane on the northbound lanes. Evidently safely landed. It was it looked like a controlled landing. Flaps are down. The whole thing. I want to see what Google Maps says. Crash on State Route 55. Not quite. A Piper Comanche is what it is. So the fact that it's not lit for runway operations, and that it's not exactly an empty road. The 55 even at 8 o'clock at night. That's pretty miraculous. Yeah. I mean, there's no competing traffic on a civil aviation runway. They clear you to land. There's no one else there but you. So this guy, and here's what's crazy is he landed northbound with the traffic. He landed flow of traffic, which is what you would do because you're trying to match their speed when you stall out and slow down everything. But yeah, and he's on the shoulder. I mean, he's got every right in the world to just bail out and do a like Mannix and roll out and run away. But yeah, but evidently a fairly decent landing, controlled landing, no injuries, no accidents, no nothing. So I guess we'll update you if and when they open up the 55 tonight. And if you want to exit, there's a couple 7-Elevens. I have that automatically. That layer comes up automatically on my Google Maps. There's a whole bunch of 7-Elevens all around there. So anyway, the S show is over. They're on the 55. You're down there in the South Bay. And again, I'm going with Piper Comanche. It looks pretty new. But I will. I'll take a mulligan on that. It might be a Beechcraft, but I think it's a Piper Comanche. Anyway, low wing, 4-seat, single engine, civil aviation aircraft landing on the 55. Welcome to the Super Hyper Local Sunday. Brian Suits here till 10 p.m. You can follow along on the live stream video at unsheepyourself.com, unsheepyourself.com, and we'll get to a whole bunch of stuff. Home invasion stabbing in Lancaster overnight, and but first and foremost, we have a guy, and he's going to become famous tomorrow. I'm declaring a Fox News tsunami on Gregory Salcido, Pico Rivera councilman, city councilman, and he's a teacher at El Rancho High School in Pico Rivera. Why, might you ask, is he going to be Fox News fodder tomorrow? Well, because in class, he denounced the American military and the people who serve in the American military as dolts and morons. And I beeped it out. Dumbesses. That's right. I beeped out the S's, right? Producer Joey Marana? Okay. Well, we have a delay. We'll find out. But anyway, he said that people who serve in the U.S. military are dumbesses because a student was wearing a Marine Corps logoed sweatshirt in class. This is captured on video by several people. 3 videos on social media of Pico Rivera councilman Gregory Salcido, a teacher at El Rancho High School, making disparaging remarks about the military and berating a student, berating him for wearing a Marines logoed sweatshirt, have gone viral and created a backlash. The El Rancho Unified School District officials confirmed yesterday, that the person speaking is indeed Mr. Salcido, and that the incident took place on school grounds. District Superintendent Carling Aguilera Fort said in a phone interview, quote, "We acknowledge it is his voice based on the research of the incident so far and knowing it came from one of our classrooms." So here it is. And by the way, the one pull that I have from this that no one is hitting on yet is the guy's blatant racism towards the Vietnamese. So anyway, here is about 1 minute of what he's saying. Kid's wearing a Marine sweatshirt. The guy confronts him. Teacher confronts him. "Why are you wearing that? Don't you know that makes you a moron? Don't you know that everyone in the Marine Corps is a moron?" And I'll leave that up to your own personal experiences, by the way. But people in the military are morons because we don't win wars anymore. So here is the video of Mr. Salcido in class last week. This is going to be huge coming up Monday.
They're the freaking lowest of our low, not morally. You know, I'm not saying they make bad moral decisions, just they're not talented people. That's why when presidents always says we are the best military, and when presidents were all saying whether it was Obama or whether it's anybody, I was like, no, we don't. The data is in. We don't have a good military. We haven't been able to beat these guys wearing freaking robes and chocolates for 15 years. And you're telling me we couldn't beat the Vietnamese? There are a bunch of people this freaking big throwing rice at us.
I love that the kids laugh at his Vietnamese joke. So if he's hard to hear, let me take it back a bit, like I wish they did in the movie Hostiles, because he mumbled all the way through that movie. He's saying when Obama or Bush or someone said we have the best military, or Trump says we have the best military, no, we freaking don't. No, we freaking don't. We only have dumbasses in our military. You're like your stupid Uncle Louie. So that's who's in the American military. Because I'm such a moron. Anyway, so back to the beginning of this. And then again, so pay attention to his point is he says, we couldn't even beat the Vietnamese, and there are a bunch of people this frickin' tall throwing rice at us. The data is in, is what he says. And then he goes off more and more and more. And then here at the end, he tells the kid, don't wear that again. The sweatshirt that says Marines. Don't wear that in here again. F you. He's always a teacher at El Rancho High School. He's a city councilman in Pico Rivera. Oh, no, he still will be. What a piece of S. I really want this guy face to face. He's a pussy and he's a coward and he won't come in the studio. But I want him made famous. This is going to be huge all over the country, but this is our problem. This is a guy who literally, clearly has zero exposure to people in the U.S. military. Because I guarantee in Trivial Pursuit or an IQ test, I will wipe his ass with my results. This guy's a moron. I can hear it. And he's going to get official cover from the school district. But I would say that if your kids are in that district or in that high school, and this guy is vomiting this kind of ignorance to your students, he's a danger. He's not qualified to. And I get it. He has a First Amendment. You know what? I have a First Amendment too, but not when I'm here. Between 8 and 10 p.m., I can't say what I really think of this guy. Because I have a prior restriction to my free speech. So does he in a school. I had a teacher like him, and I grew up in a very isolated place in the Olympic Peninsula of Washington State in Port Angeles. I had a guy like him who hated this country, and he fled to the Olympic Peninsula, ultra-liberal, and he had a point of view, and that was it. And he tried to make it a thing, a First Amendment thing. He tried to hide behind his gig, behind the job, but the parents rose up and said, he's just not informed. If he was giving a personal anecdote saying, oh, well, when I was in the Marines, they were all morons, that's different. The guy's never met anyone in the military. And if he has, he met Larry, who everyone knows is an idiot. I support the troops, except for Larry. He's a total douchebag. Everyone else, great guy. We'll be back in just a second. So Councilman Salcido, we'll get back to this here. I'll play you more of this. And I want to isolate it on what he said about Vietnamese people. If you're Vietnamese, he says that you're this tall and you throw rice at people. So that's nice. Yeah, and you know what? He won't survive that. Bad-mouthing the U.S. military, he might survive, but he will not survive what I'm going to do at him, do for him.
12:40 this afternoon. Street has been evacuated.
I don't know what's going on. As usual, our Wi-Fi is all fucked up. So I don't know what's going on. Oh, I'm really pissed at this asshole. I mean, what a complete POS. And granted, there's loads of stupid people in the military. There's way more stupid people in radio. This guy clearly has never met. He does not have any exposure to people in the military. So there's that. I know 19-year-olds. I know 19-year-olds who have more wisdom than this guy. So yeah, I am really pissed at this guy. To say something like that to a class, I would love to come and give a counterpoint and say, well, you know what? I don't do this. I don't like to go there. But my IQ when I enlisted in the military, I took the ASVAB, the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery, which is an IQ test. I had never taken an IQ test in high school or college, and that was my first IQ test. And I met guys who had not gone to college, who had a 160 IQ. We had a guy who didn't speak a word of English from Puerto Rico, and he went to the mandatory English language immersion, so his English was, okay. But the guy had a 160 IQ, and he was enlisted as an infantryman. Some of the smartest people I've ever met are monosyllabic infantrymen. And
you want to make your bumper here?
Yeah.
All right, we got 4 minutes.
So this guy, he's an elected official in Pico Rivera. He's a city councilman, and I'll tweet out his phone number. But man, I got to say, if you are if your kids go to El Rancho High School in Pico Rivera, and and they're exposed to this douchebag, then you got a problem because he's a dioc.
Company in 2018. Gallon Air Conditioning is contractor license 1023790.
Every business owner says, here's why you should buy it from me. Blah, blah, blah. They aren't going to do anything.
If you want to go to Orange instead of what's FL? You mean Hollywood?
Air conditioning. Today I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, I have 2 live shows coming up. Wednesday night at Dave and Buster's in Hollywood. So go to Facebook Dark Secret Place. And then Wednesday night, and then Thursday night in Orange, at the Dave and Buster's in Orange.
You're going to like the people I send your house because everyone
And tickets are 2 for $25. The show is How to Hide Your Guns from Gavin Newsom.
That's when I started writing and I got a condo in Manhattan. Baby girl, what's happening? You and your ass in you want just to put a smile on my sister. I would never make a promise that I can't keep. I promise that your smile ain't gonna never Cadillac. Girl, it's champagne on us. Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like. I like. Lucky for you, that's this one for them hood girls. Don't gotta kiss. To you, 'cause I don't believe me, just watch. 'Cause I'm gonna give it to you.
I'm not going to play the Bruno Mars song that he won Best Song for tonight, because that song sucks, but I will play Uptown Funk in his place.
I'm sorry, dude. I just can't listen to that guy's accent and take him seriously talking shit about people's intelligence. I mean, that counts on me.
I know.
These people are the lowest of the low.
Which happy song? Which damn happy song? You're not talking about the K-pop, are you? Yeah, that's the thing about YouTube. I can say, fuck that asshole. Fuck that douchebag. I want to drive down there on my own time and just get in his fucking face. What a dick. So what, 1 minute?
You know, he's an asshole.
What?
You know, he's an asshole. He hate me. Remember, he hate me.
Oh, yeah.
XFL. Well, didn't respond to me. I like because the XFL's coming back. You know, I reached out to him and see if there's any involvement.
Oh, really?
Nope.
He wound up doing like 3 years in the NFL, didn't
Oh,
he?
did he after that?
For the Steelers
That's
or
right,
something?
yeah.
Or the Browns?
The guy's a crack up though.
Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. Come on.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. It is Super Hyperlocal Sunday. Brian Suits, Ian here till 10 p.m. And Bruno Mars won Song of the Year at the Grammys. Not for this, for a different song, but that song sucks. This song, however, is a good song. Uptown Funk from 4 years ago. A pretty good song, so that's what we're going to play. But his song, What I Like, won Best Song of the Year. Or song, not Best Song of the Year, but Song of the Year, which infers Best Song of the Year. So we're talking about a city councilman in Pico Rivera who is also a teacher at El Rancho High School, and I've got no idea what he teaches, evidently something to do with current events. But he went on a rant about how people who join the U.S. military are necessarily morons. And his proof is that in his estimation, we haven't won a war since World War II. And that's what he said. And so his mastery of history is, it leaves a bit to be desired. I think my curiosity in regards to this guy's depth in the field of American history has largely been satisfied, to paraphrase Meriwether Lewis. So back to what he said, because you're going to, like I say, you're going to hear the crap out of this tomorrow here on KFI. You're going to hear it on Fox News, etc. This is a local furore, as they say in Italian. And what set him off? You ask what set this guy off on a 5-minute rant that had nothing to do with class curricula. Well, it's that he had a student wearing a Marines sweatshirt, and so he says that the Marines haven't even been able to defeat these guys in Afghanistan just wearing robes. And then he says, I suppose he means flip-flops, but he's using I guess Hispanic slang or something for flip-flops. I assume that's what he's saying. I don't know. But so he says that you're stupid, you're dumb Uncle Louie, and all those people in the U.S. military are dumbasses. And keep in mind that in Pico Rivera, at this high school, there's a significant military enlistment rate, Hispanic military enlistment rate. Recruiters come to a place like that and they offer a different path for kids who don't want to go to college. Because guess what? Jerry Brown and Gavin Newsom and Barack Obama, not everybody wants to go to college. And I'm here to tell you that some of the smartest people I've ever met in my life, flat out period, including this industry, which is full of dumbasses, the radio and music industry, some of the smartest people I've ever met in my life are infantrymen, 19-year-old infantrymen. But anyway, here is City Councilman Gregory Salcido again with his little rant.
All that kind of stuff, and we can't freaking control these dudes wearing freaking robes and chanclas.
So someone source on YouTube at Unsheep Yourself. I'm live streaming on Twitter at Dark Secret Place. What's chanclets? I don't know. Is that flip-flops and chancla? All right, producer Joey Murata hands me this. Chancla is a flip-flop used by a Mexican female to beat their child or husband for doing something that angers her.
Yeah,
where did you print that up from?
I got it from Urban Dictionary, but I gotta say the top definition is great. They acknowledge it's the deadliest weapon known to a Latin kid.
Oh, I have to ping that off Super Mexican on Twitter at Super Mexican. I have to ask him what a chancla is because he's my interpreter for all that. Anyway, back to a classroom Friday in Pico Rivera where the American military is being derided.
They're not like high-level thinkers. They're not academic people. They're not intellectual people. They're the freaking lowest of our low, not moral. You know, I'm not saying they make bad moral decisions. Just, they're not talented people. That's why when the president's office says we have the best military, and when the president's office said whether it was Obama or whatever, I was like, no, the data is we don't have a good military. We haven't been able to beat these guys wearing freaking robes and China for 15 years.
Tell that to Kylo Ren, a-hole. He was a Marine Corps mortarman. So here in the end, he tells the kid not to wear this Marine sweatshirt again.
They're not freaking go. Yeah. Don't wear that again.
Yeah, I want him to tell that to Kylo Ren. That guy at Camp Pendleton was a U.S. Marine Corps, whatever, in 0318. He was a mortarman. So stick that in your pipe. Anyway, I'll give out the guy's email address, his phone, the whole thing. Feel free to social bomb him because he is an elected official. He's fair game. By the way, I know he's a teacher and he said this in a school. Guess what? It's social media. He's an elected official. F him. F him in the A. And yeah, no, he can't. Well, unless there's a dress code, and apparently there's not because he wore that. But he's telling him not to wear it because it says Marines, and F him. And I don't know if the school's going to take any matters into hand, but the guy's an elected official, so people in Pico Rivera need to know who this d-bag is. We'll be back right after this. It is Super Hyper Local Sunday. Some actual stuff has happened in the Southland. We'll give you an update on the aircraft, which I'm saying Piper Comanche on the 55 northbound, north of Newport Beach, and what the outlook there is. Back right after this, KFI AM640, more stimulating talk. Michael Chappé with the news. By the way, streamers, how's the sound? Sound, blah, blah, blah. Shankla. Excuse me. Wow. Let me ask my friend from Chile.
Yeah, come on, bro. I'm gonna use that slang while talking.
Oh, yeah, off air, the person you hear me talking to is producer Joey Murata. And yes, he is Rich Murata's son. Again, like I said last night, these are at Costco. These are 6,000 milliamp hours. 2 of them for $20. They come with, each of them comes with a fast charger and the USB. For $20, so pick them up, and they are fast chargers. So there you go. Yeah, I have solar chargers. They sit on my dashboard, but when I absolutely positively am down to 17%, I gotta go with this. But it blew me away. They're only $20. So if Costco does not restock, so if you see them, pick them up. My wife is always running out of electricity, so I Sharpied her name on hers. Yeah, and I am so pissed off about this guy. I don't care if you criticize the U.S. military for being money hungry or inefficient or whatever, fine. Or if you served and you say that, but for someone who's never served, to say, oh, they're stupid and you're stupid Uncle Louie, and think of who's in there, it tells me that you're really a moron. What do you mean? I think the Echo is your issue. Yeah, they're 6,000 milliamp batteries. So this will charge a regular smartphone 2 or 3 times. But I'm here to tell you, in this business and radio, I have worked for more morons than I have ever worked for in the military. Really, truly. I think the Echo was a artifact at your end, though. But no, I have worked for complete idiots in radio, especially in music radio. Music radio is run by dumb fucks, by people who fuck dumbly. They are dumb fucking shits.
Can I get your bumper again?
Yeah.
All right.
And there really is no way to get them out except horrible ratings and get them fired. But then someone else hires them. And I can tell you that in all the music radio I ever worked for, the two smartest guys I ever worked for were both the program directors at K-Rock. Andy Schoen, who's a lifelong boyhood friend. So I got into radio the traditional way. He hired me. And then when he left to program MTV, Kevin Weatherly, who came up from whatever the hell it was in San Diego. Kevin Weatherly has been at K-Rock since 1993. And he's a smart guy. He's a fucking smart guy. That's why he has the job. But in music radio, I've never worked for anyone smarter than those two. And it's because I left L.A. You leave L.A. in music radio, and you are in Okie Town. You know, and I'm talking about Salt Lake City, Portland, Bay Area, Seattle. Music program directors are dumb fucks. And they all steal, they all copy what L.A. does. How much time?
As a KFI listener, you're probably used to being the most informed person in the room. We're not suggesting that self-satisfied.
All right, I'm good. How do we give him a physical thumbs up? KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. It is super hyper local Sunday. Brian sits in here till 10 p.m. Then we hand it all over to Coast to Coast. And so we'll move on from this Pico Rivera city councilman / high school teacher, Salcido. Unless I feel like piling on. Gregory Salcido, who you're going to hear about all next week because of this rant, this anti-U.S. military rant. That he went on. And as I was talking to producer Joey Murata about, and this is me moving on, by the way, is fine, if you served, then tell me all about the crappy duty you had or whatever, but no one who's actually served will ever tell you that they were surrounded by morons, unless they were Einstein, in which case, literally, that might be true, but compared to you, and complain about Greenland or the uniforms or working for the government or whatever. But no one who's actually served or has been exposed to the U.S. military knows that. Would ever say, oh, yeah, I was surrounded by morons. And that, in my experience, by the way, in the U.S. military, as an enlisted person and an officer, the one striking highlight that I'll never forget is serving in Bosnia in a NATO environment, including non-NATO countries, including serving a 4-month embed with the fricking Russians and their stinky asses. Their thieving, felon, a-hole, murderer for hire crap. Most every NATO country, the one compliment they have about the American military is, wow, your NCOs are brilliant. These are not officers, you're sergeants, you're NCOs, your chief petty officers, you're sergeants. They have college degrees. They can't make E8 without a master's. That's unheard of in France and in Germany and in England and in Italy, the rest of NATO. The American military, if you're going to make a career as an enlisted person, you better get advanced education. You better have a college degree. Anyway, so let me concentrate just to really put a fine point and turn the heat up on this a-hole who's a city councilman in Pico Rivera and a teacher El Rancho High School. Here's the part that I don't want the guy to get a pass on, is what he says about the Vietnamese, because he says that the American military, the data's in. They're all dumbasses. And we couldn't even beat the Vietnamese, who were like this tall and they threw rice at us. That's how this guy reduces the Vietnam War, is that Vietnamese are like this tall. I'm assuming he held his hand low, and that they throw rice at you. Like, there's no Vietnamese kids in El Rancho High School? But here's how that went.
You're telling me we couldn't beat the Vietnamese? There are a bunch of people this freaking big throwing rice at us.
But it was a laugh line. The students did react. But here were the guy. We couldn't beat the Vietnamese. And he's talking about the race of people called Vietnamese from Vietnam.
You're telling me we couldn't beat the Vietnamese? There are a bunch of people this freaking big throwing rice at us.
Yeah, well, how'd the Mexican-American War work out for you? What? Am I on the air? Uh-oh, I meant to. Let's dump that. Okay, don't worry, Joey. I dumped it. It won't go on the air. We dumped it out so no one will hear it. So there's that.
You're telling me we couldn't beat the Vietnamese? There are a bunch of people this freaking big throwing rice at us.
Yeah, so we'll have jobs tomorrow. Not a problem. Anyway, a stabbing in Lancaster overnight, and then if you are in your automobile on the 55 northbound out of Newport Beach, the reason you are in a hellacious backup is because a small aviation, a single-engine, four-seat aircraft declared an emergency and landed on the northbound 55. I guess a little over about an hour ago or so. Traffic is there. It looks like they've opened up 2 lanes, so you're going to make it out unless you want to get off and enjoy some of the many choices of 7-Elevens you can go to there. But a home invasion stabbing in Lancaster last night. Our friends at Channel 4 with that story.
Has been shot this morning after a man is stabbed to death during a home invasion in the Antelope Valley. Now the search is on for his killer. NBC4 Shane Yamamoto live right now in Lancaster, where investigators are still on scene. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, McCullough. And just within the past few minutes, we saw at least 2 more investigators arrive on scene. Take a look behind me. You can see they have sealed off this section of the Town Square apartment homes located off Gadsden Avenue. It's where the fatal home invasion occurred. Detectives say a man forced his way into one of the apartments around 10 o'clock last night, confronting the resident. Investigators say a fight broke out. The man living in the unit was stabbed at least once in the stomach area, taken to a local hospital where he died. Now, sheriff's homicide detectives say the suspect took off on foot. Investigators do not have a description on that.
Home invasion with a knife. That's a very bad scene. So the person's not in custody so far. Otherwise, I gotta say, a lot of people caught bullets this weekend, but certainly not the homicides that we had from last weekend. So the weekend started off with a quintuplet, with a 5 score. A 5 burger, 5 wounded in the South LA drive-by, and so we'll come back with that here in just a second. And Hillary Clinton with of course, the Grammys. You're going to hear about this tomorrow. Guess what? Hollywood got political, or rather, the music industry got political at the Grammys. And women who are shocked that sexism is involved in the music industry were wearing white tonight. And many male artists were also equally in shock. So we'll get to that. But the big laugh of the night was Hillary Clinton reading out of the Fire and Fury Tell-All Trump book. And just wait for that hilarity when we come back. And one of the funniest hashtags in Twitter history coming after a very sad piece of news about the founder of IKEA. When we come back, it is Super Hyperlocal Sunday. Brian sits in here until 10 p.m. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. Michael Chapin with the news.
TV report says that Caltrans is looking into whether microscopic organisms are attacking vertical welds of the submerged foundation of a tower on the San Francisco.
I was thinking too. I wonder if that teacher knows the JFK was in the military.
Yeah.
Like any of his leftists, I'm sure
But no, he says that we haven't won a war since World War II. So all the World War II people are they're grandfathered in as smarty pants.
So the World War II and prior, right?
Yeah. um,
Yeah, the thing I find interesting too is like you probably know because I think in the military, right, you have to study like the ancient.
oh yeah,
stuff,
West
right?
Point, and all that.
All those
And,
guys, like Socrates, infantryman,
uh,
Thucydides, those like wise, the wisest.
oh
man
yeah,
ever.
and the rate of bilingualism is way higher in the military. The rate of women in positions of authority is way higher in the military. Average IQ is higher in the military than the U.S. military, than U.S. population at large.
Really?
In spite of what you hear,
I would believe that.
the suicide rate amongst combat veterans is lower than the American population at large.
Yeah.
No matter what you hear about, 17 veterans kill themselves every day. No, they fucking don't. That the VA and the Washington Post went at that study and said, no. They're counting everyone who claimed, and that includes a huge homeless population of liars.
Yeah.
Those guys at the end of the
Veteran.
off ramp, they go, oh, veteran. But the population, the number one suicide population are white males 18 to 35, and males 18 to 35. The population of veterans who have been in combat, not just service members, but people who have been in combat, the suicide rate is less than that population at large. Men 18 to 35 in America who've never served kill themselves at a higher rate than combat veterans. And combat veterans are supposed to be all fucked up.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this guy's just propagating these idiotic myths.
I don't know, like what his wife didn't do at home like earlier that day that like set him off or whatever. It was like.
Like I say, I had a teacher in high school, great guy.
Yeah.
He was a really good guy. But if you got him on the subject of America and the military, he would actively interfere with recruiters coming to my high school.
Wow.
And in my high school, when the logging industry took its shit, the military was the way people got out or go to college. And he would sit there and he would stand next to a recruiter and like he thought he was doing his point counterpoint. And my high school had the highest per capita military academy placement in the country because there were so many retired military. And he would go nuts. And the guy was crazy. He came out to the Olympic Peninsula because he was crazy.
Yeah.
And the district finally realized that you're not here because your commitment to education. You're out here to escape something. And he would just go nuts if anyone had, because like the school principal would go on the PA system with the morning announcements and say, and I'm proud to announce that Todd Persick has enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps, to be an aviation mechanic, or whatever. And he would go crazy and go, fucking Persick, you're a dumb shit, and you fucking dumbass. And no one took him seriously. We all had respect for the guy, but.
That's leave that stuff outside. Oh, this guy's Twitter. Did you go to his Twitter yet, the teacher?
No. And also, one of the funniest goddamn things, when I was in Oregon, the Portland School District, the Multnomah County School District in Portland, Oregon, banned military recruiters from coming on campus, which was the stupidest shit they could ever do. Because they were telling a bunch of young men, the kind of young men you want in the infantry, they were telling a bunch of young men, hey, don't even look over there. Hey, don't look at them. We know what's good for you, and we're not going to even expose you to those guys. So don't even talk to them. And Marine Corps and Army recruiting went through the roof. I know that our goals in my infantry brigade, in the Guard, we were at 200% enlistment like in 2002 and 2003, because if you tell a 17-year-old guy, hey, I know what's best for you, don't even look there. Just look at the stuff here from Peace Corps to Purdue University, but don't look over here. And they broke our doors down.
Sure.
It was and they were all the right kind of people, and it was right at the correct time. Oh my God! Have you ever seen Dirty Harry? I mean, do you remember it?
Yeah.
Um,
Trilogy Financial clients have come to count on them for almost 20 years. You can too. TrilogyFS.com. This is your chance to get your financial plan right, and now is the time. TrilogyFS.com. That's TrilogyFS.com. And be sure to join us for the Jeff Botsky.
there's that great scene in the mayor's office when the mayor says, "Oh, Inspector Callahan, I don't want any trouble like you had last year in the Tenderloin." And he says, "Well, when I see a man with the intent chasing a woman, when I see a naked man chasing a woman with the intent to commit rape, I shoot the bastard. That's my policy." Because the mayor goes, "No trouble. That's my policy." And he goes, "Well, when I see a naked man chasing a woman with a knife, I shoot the bastard. That's my policy." And he goes, "Intent? How did you determine that?" And he goes, "Well, a naked man with nothing but a knife and a hard-on." Can I say hard-on? It's Sunday night at 8:51. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. It is Super Hyper Local Sunday. Brian sits in here until 10 p.m. with all the local news. The weekend started off with a bang. 5 people were wounded in a gang-related drive-by shooting in South Los Angeles. The police authorities said on Friday. The shooting was reported in the 200 block of East 119th Street just before 6 p.m. LA Fire Department officials said they were treating 5 patients at the scene. Police say they believe there were 2 vehicles involved in a drive-by shooting. It was gang-related, and more than a dozen rounds were fired. 5 people were transported to local hospitals. Additionally, a fire department vehicle responding to the shooting with its lights and siren on collided with a civilian vehicle, so there was a red on blue. 3 civilians sustained non-life-threatening injuries in the accident. The story will be updated, but what we know at this point is that the 5 wounded in the suspected gang drive-by don't have any idea who shot them, and they have not provided descriptions, nor do they seem to be cooperating with the police. Meanwhile, so we'll update you on that drive-by shooting as we get details, because we really have to get to the bottom of that. Probably thousands of man-hours need to solve that one. Man suspected of sexual assault in L.A. is wanted by the FBI. The only reason that I'm reading this story is because the booking photo is a dead ringer for Viggo Mortensen, actor Viggo Mortensen. See? Producer Joey Murata. This looks like unshaven Viggo Mortensen from History of Violence, the Ring movies. Lord of the Rings. The FBI is searching for a 46-year-old man, I think that's Viggo Mortensen, he's 46, suspected of sexual assault in Los Angeles who fled the state last year. Greg Allen Carlson, originally from Washington, D.C., is suspected of assault with intent to commit rape. And if you're a fan of the Dirty Harry movie, then you're saying intent to commit rape. How did you establish that? Well, let's go back to 1971. No, he has a point. So anyway, this guy was apparently that guy. Intent to commit rape, burglary, and assault with a deadly weapon. He's on the FBI's most wanted list for the L.A. area. He was arrested by the LAPD on September 3rd, but he posted bond 3 days later. The same day he posted bond, an arrest warrant for him was issued in L.A. County. He was charged with 1 count of assault with intent to commit rape. How do you establish that? After posting his bond, he fled to a family home in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Anywho, there's now a federal arrest warrant for the guy. But again, I'll tweet the picture out. The booking photo, if you held it up, and if you are streaming at YouTube, unsheepyourself.com, unsheepyourself.com. That's where I'm streaming the show. I'm holding it up to the camera. Tell me that is not Viggo Mortensen. So picture Viggo Mortensen, and there you go. That's the deal there. Now, so we have 5 people who caught bullets on Friday. More Southlanders have caught government-issued bullets since then. A suspect was wounded during an officer-involved shooting with the CHP in Dana Point early Sunday morning. Authorities said the shooting happened around 1:30 in the a.m. on PCH and Selva Road. The suspect fled the scene during the shooting. However, a few hours later at 4 a.m., the suspect was taken into custody, found to have sustained injuries during the shooting. The person was taken to a hospital for treatment in unknown condition. A CHP officer sustained minor injuries unrelated to the shooting. The officer was taken to a hospital, treated, and released. It was unclear what the suspect was wanted for or what led to the shooting. The investigation is ongoing. But so now, by my count, we have, and I'm sorry, the 5 South LA people, those are not government-issued bullets. Those are personally purchased, I'm sure, in an absolutely legal format by suspected gang individuals who then fired them at rival gang members. So far we just have that. So did you hear about the the market in the Bay Area, San Jose, where a woman photographed an apparent meat delivery? The meat supplier was from Modesto, my beloved Motown. And it was newly butchered, unfrozen half pigs. You know how they hang the pig up, and they take a chainsaw and cut it from rectum to voice box, and then that's how it's delivered to a butcher. Well, anyway, they piled these into a grocery cart, and then again, this is up in San Jose, but this chain called 99 Ranch Market is down here in a big way in the Southland. And I go to the one on Sepulveda all the time. The thing is, though, I'm not under any impression that a place that has frozen beef penis is anyway behind the scenes going to set any record for sanitation. I mean, I know that when I go in there. However, this woman was shocked to find thawed fresh meat being brought into the front door. The deal was they were using a Costco cart. They just found a cart in the parking lot and they threw the butchered pig into the Costco cart. So if you're up in that area, you might want to think you might want to grab a buttload of those wipes and wipe down your cart. But anyway, so that's a kerfuffle. But I'm sure it's going to be resolved. And I do endorse I buy the Asian food. And I love the 99-cent ranch market. And remember when there was the whole frozen raccoon about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago? I don't know if that was at that market, but that's the kind of thing they sell. I go in there just to take pictures for my Instagram feed, which is Brian Does Junk on Instagram. I go there just to take wacky pictures of the things that they sell to other human beings. We'll be back for hour number 2 of Super Hyperlocal Sunday. All the news that you need to know about to start your week off on the good foot, including what will be in the news next week. That and more right after this. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. Look at that shit. World's tallest man, world's shortest woman. Look at that shit.
You cannot smoke in ski resorts or public places. I'm sure that rule is being broken.
24-hour news, more stimulating talk.
That baby? That's not a woman.
No, apparently it's a grown.
More stimulating talk.
Obsessed. I'm Michael Serpay, live from the 24-hour KFI newsroom. Police in Pennsylvania say 4 people have been shot in...
Sherpa, you're correct. I know. I need to turn the mic off, because the mic mutes my speaker here. So I need to do that. Should I turn the light up?
Officials say the shooter is on life support and is not expected to survive. Cops said the shooter opened fire on 2 men at a self-serve car wash early today. Another woman at the scene survived by hiding. Family members of some of the people killed say the shooter, who is 28, was driven by
I wanna shave all this and just do a Fu Manchu.
kill.
Do a Dirty Sanchez.
Aboard. It's landed safely on the northbound 55 freeway, Costa Mesa. No injuries reported. The pilot apparently lost power over the ocean and was able to land on the freeway at the Del Mar exit at about 7:40 tonight. The plane apparently took off from San Diego.
You know what I did one time, Ryan? I bought pork belly at Costco and I made my own bacon, and it was great. And this is not a Navy SEALs hat, by the way. This is a reproduction of the 1939 San Francisco SEALs hat. It's a authentic wool and satin, as well as goat hair crown, and it's made by Ebbets Field Flannels in Seattle. So if you have a hubby who's into the baseball, go to Ebbets Field Flannels and check their stuff out. Wayne, yes, you can. I love that subject. I love Linebacker 2, December of 1972. Mail it to KFI, which is easy to find. It's 3400 West Olive, Burbank, 91505. So we had 12 eggs. We got 6 chicks out of 12 eggs, and we don't incubate them. We let the hen brood on them. And so we got 6 out of that, which is a really good hatch rate, by the way. And I will show you a picture. Let me see. I don't know if you can see this. There is my lovely daughter with one of her chicks. So Echo and the Bunnymen for the bumper. Oh, actually, I got to do the show intro for the bumper. I can't do Echo and the Bunnymen.
He. Thank you.
So what, State of the Union is Tuesday, right?
Yeah. State of the state or State of the Union?
State of the Union.
Around the Southland till tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. It's
Dry,
Tuesday.
windy conditions.
Tuesday.
Your computer is up.
60 miles an hour, possibly higher in the Inland Orange County areas. The overnight lows 50s and 60s, and then tomorrow another hot one. We're looking for 70s.
Steaming? You mean streaming, right? I am steaming.
Near 90 for the inland areas, including the IE and the valleys. Tuesday, a little bit cooler with partly cloudy skies. Highs mid to upper 70s to the upper 80s. And then sunny highs in the 70s and 80s for Wednesday with a few more clouds on Thursday.
Yeah, a lot of Russian boar up at Hunter Liggett and Camp Roberts, and also NorCal. A lot of Russian boar.
We lead local from KFI's 24-hour newsroom.
Yummy.
He. Thank you.
Super Hyper Local Sunday with Brian Suits.
Breaking news from Hollywood, people stabbing. Looks like we're coming to a stop out here. The door is open. This guy is getting out of the vehicle. What? Oh, he's got a gun. He has got a gun. Yeah, this is not going to end very well.
That's why I'm voting for Eric Garcetti.
Super Hyper Local Sunday with Brian Suits on KFI.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. It is Super Hyper Local Sunday. Brian Suits in here till 10 p.m. The weather. Let's talk about the weather. I thought we were supposed to get some rain, but I guess not. But I have a wind app, and it's actually called Windy, if you can imagine that. And it gives you real-time wind measurements because the National Weather Service is predicting possible record gusts in the OC and San Diego County peaks tonight, right now. So let me see in real time what that says. And again, if you are listening to us, should we do that? Do you want to take some phone calls from people on the 55? Yeah. If a civil aviation, a small plane, landed on the 55 northbound north of Newport Beach. And so that's why you're in traffic there. So if you're on 405 coming north to south, don't take the 55 to Newport Beach. Find another route, or whatever. They're going to get it cleared up. But if you're in that traffic, because it is a hellacious backup, give us a call, 800-520-1KFI. We'll treat it like an earthquake. We'll do our patented listener-to-listener coverage, 800-520-1KFI. But you have to be on the 55, and we're going to ask you skill testing questions to guarantee that you are who you say you are. Just because I want to help diffuse the misery. And if people hear what a bad scene you're having, then it'll be better for you. Right now, I'm looking at San Diego, and we are in the 20s and 25s. I'm not seeing 90s, but are they predicting? And newsman Michael Chappé, are they saying this overnight? A record wind overnight for San Diego? I see. And these are coming north because as I zoom in, I can see that in Ensenada, they're currently getting 40-mile-an-hour winds, and those are coming north. So, yeah, San Diego. Well, no, it's actually coming from inland out to the ocean. So, and so in down in Mexico, where they invented these winds, because our wall wasn't high enough, they're already having those. But I can see east of San Diego, some high winds are looming for all of ye. So anyway, that happened, and of course it brings with it high temperatures. Because when I left my house, it was 52 degrees. I come downhill to where all you flatlanders live, and it's 78 here in Burbank, 78 and windy. So bad day for a hoodie. KFI's Brian. Well, the Grammys are going on, and I'll play for you this comedy bit that Hillary Clinton did earlier. Because guess what? They're dipping their toe into politics. However, the winning hashtag of the internet today comes at the expense of the founder of IKEA, Ingvar Kamprad, who croaked at the age of 91 today. And I never knew the origin story of this. I guess when he was 17, he got a small loan from his dad. And I don't quite get if he invented taking furniture apart and putting it in a flat box or whatever, but whatever he did, IKEA was born. And with it, you could say a way of life and a universal language. Because one thing about IKEA is you can go anywhere in the world. You can go to Tokyo, you can go to the Balkans, you can go to Africa, and there's IKEA furniture. And everyone gets the joke about the Allen wrench, about the hex wrench. That how do you make furniture with nails and a hammer? Don't you just need a hex wrench? So anyway, what came up today was hashtag IKEA coffin names. If IKEA sold coffins like one for Ingvar Kamprad, what would they call the coffin? And you have to, I guess, the inside joke here is if you've never bought anything at IKEA and you've never even joked around and walked through an IKEA, then you don't know that they have a bunch of made-up names for everything. It looks like it's probably Swedish because it's got an O with a slash through it, and it's got 2 dots over the A, and things like that. But the joke for all you non-Swedish speakers out there is that it's not Swedish. It looks Swedish. So for all of you non-Swedish speakers, all I can tell you is dra åt helvete kukuva. So the joke here is, what would IKEA call a coffin that they would sell? Probably particle board, made with an Allen wrench. Anyway, here's some of the winning hashtag contributors at hashtag IKEA coffin names. Bit the Dustin. Crocolada. 6 foot and Ubder. Deadbox, Dedboxx. And also, if you know anything about IKEA, then you know that they have a great buffet. They have a great Swedish smorgasbord, and then they sell food at their little deli thing. And they sell, like, everything is made of lingonberries, which exist evidently only in Sweden, right? They sell lingonberry juice, and they sell preserves, and they sell frozen lingonberries and all that. So anyway, the winning answer to hashtag IKEA coffin names on the Twitter machine was lingonberry, B-O-R-Y. My contribution, for the record, was B-A-U with 2 dots over the U, B-A-U-X. Box. Get it? So, no. Body, and then body box, B-O-D-D-Y with dots over the O, and all that. So anyway, that sprang up spontaneously today on the Twitter machine. So the Grammys are over. They're on the East Coast. They might still be on. I don't know, here on the West Coast. They're tape delayed. And this is of course, the Music Industry's awards, their annual awards. And the music industry is acting like it's just TV and movies where rape and sexual harassment occurs for female participants, for them to either maintain their employment or to get ahead. And I'll play for you what the industry did. What James, what's his name, the late night talk show host, the British guy, what he did, the bit they did was that they were auditioning people for the audiobook for Fire and Fury, the Trump White House book that dropped 2 weeks ago. So they have Cher read a passage, and they have Snoop Dogg read a passage, and then Comedy Punchline, they have Hillary Clinton read a passage. So there's your comedy, and I'll play it for you when we come back. But again, this is the music industry doing virtue signaling as if they've had it up to here with sexual harassment. I don't know where you work. The post office, FedEx, some other non-entertainment-based industry. Does your industry tolerate rape and sexual harassment for a job interview? It doesn't? Okay. Mine does. The music and radio and entertainment industry, we do. Okay. But what the music industry did tonight was a bunch of people wore white, and they denounced that kind of behavior because it's just such a anomaly. But it's part of the reason I got out of music radio. But that is the norm. I mean, to this day. But what was funny about the Grammys tonight, because I assumed it was a comedy show, was they were sitting there acting like this is not going to happen tomorrow, right here in Los Angeles, which is the epicenter of the music industry. So that comedy right after this, starring Hillary Clinton. We'll be back right after this. It is Super Hyperlocal Sunday. Brian sits in here until 10 p.m. on KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk. Michael Chapin with the news.
Humidity levels, parts of the Southland in single digits. We've got the hot, dry air sweeping the Southland. Red flag fire warnings are in place through tomorrow afternoon with the mountains and foothills across the inland counties.
Yeah, I got to find that whole
Guy that got into a scuffle with a
thing.
The Hillary thing?
Yeah, what if? I bet Daily B says it. Oh, and I haven't gotten to
It's on CNN.
on their website.
Yeah.
I gotta find that Stockton Universal. What the fuck did I do with it? Oh, there it is. Nope.
Do you have your email with it? What's the best way to send you something? Twitter?
Is it just? Can I just go to CNN and find it?
It's not on their homepage. Let's see. Go to CNN Entertainment. No, it's there. Go to CNN.com.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's right here in front of me. Yeah, if you're homeless or you want to get a homeless person away from you, then send them to Stockton because they're going to do a universal basic income. They're going to do a money giveaway.
Schaefer's going away party this week.
When is that?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which day that was. Last week was the 2nd.
Yeah, so it's Friday. Okay, yeah, okay.
It's on Thursday though.
Oh, I
Thursday
can't.
noon.
Live show at Dave and Buster's in Orange. 2 tickets for $25. Okay, so what am I going to do? Am I going to do Killing Moon, Lips Like Sugar, Bring On the Dancing Horses, Seven Seas? Seven Seas. You know what? I might do the Cutter. I'm going to do the Cutter. What?
Want to get bumper again?
Yeah.
Okay, you got 4 minutes here.
I cannot believe I did K-pop last hour. I can't believe how well aged the alternative from the '80s is. Because Echo and the Bunnymen, when I was in college, everyone made fun of me because I listened to them. And they sound so good these days. Really, really good. Yeah, and it's funny because everything we played at K-Rock, when I started in radio at K-Rock in 1992, it still, that music still sounds good today. And I like X because it's such a, X is an LA band.
Through the Hope 700 Credit Score Communities Initiative, we are helping people with free counseling, loan originations, modifications, and more. Go to OperationHope.org today.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS. Over $1,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
Spoken word auditions, take 1. Trump won't read anything. He gets up halfway.
You need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-798-2477.
All right, I got the
800-798-2477. 800-798-2477.
1 minute.
I got the Grammys comedy ready to go.
You have a noisemaker in your bathroom. You flip a switch on the wall and it clatters and roars until you flip the switch back off. What it's supposed to be doing is removing humidity from the bathroom after you take a hot shower. But it doesn't do that. You know it. I know it. We both know it. The reason it's important to remove the humidity is because if you don't, it puts a heavy load on your air
Echo and the Money Man. My bad. Dramatic pause. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk. It is super hyper local Sunday. Brian Suits in here until 10 p.m. Then we hand it all over to Coast and George Norrie. But there is still so much local stuff to get to in, again, down south. If you're on the 55 northbound from Newport Beach and you think you're getting to 405, you're not going to, because a civilian aircraft, a single-engine light plane, did an emergency landing there, now going on 2 hours. Just avoid the 55 south of 405, whether you're going to Newport Beach or coming out of Newport Beach. And we'll get to this live reading wackiness from the Grammys tonight about that Trump book, Fire and Fury, where we learned that he eats at McDonald's because he fears being poisoned or something. But that's not the comedy. The comedy is that Snoop Dogg and Cher, and then the surprise winner at the end reads the Trump book. And that is why Hollywood and the music industry are just so darn woke. So a really weird thing happened this morning, 4:45 a.m., downtown L.A., 800 block of Olive Street. After a police standoff with a purported domestic violence suspect was resolved without incident Sunday morning, downtown L.A., the woman who reported the alleged assault was arrested, said officials. Here is, that is from Channel 7, which they don't have call letters, we just call them Channel 7. From NBC4, this is what they say. Police recovered 2 assault rifles from a high-rise apartment in downtown Sunday when a SWAT team checked reports of an armed man barricaded inside a building in the South Park neighborhood of downtown L.A. The incident began with a woman calling police around 4:45 a.m. from the 19th floor of a building in the 800 block of South Olive Street. She reported that she was assaulted by someone while trying to get something out of the unit and that the person inside may have been armed. This is what Officer Norma Eisenman of the LAPD's Media Relations Division told Channel 4. A SWAT team was called out to the scene and some neighboring apartments were evacuated as a precaution. The SWAT team made their way into the unit in the 19th floor of the high-rise and found no suspect, but did turn up 2 assault rifles in their search, which was called off around 11:30 a.m., according to LAPD Sergeant Barry Montgomery. But wait, that's not the end of the story. The woman who called in the original 911 call, I've been assaulted by my ex, and he has assault rifles, and he's totally assaulting, and he's very assaulty, and they're very scary. She winds up getting arrested. Olive Street was closed between 8th and 9th Streets. LAPD established a mobile command center. Shortly after noon, as I just said, they announced that the situation had ended without the suspect being located. Police confirmed the woman was taken into custody, but declined to immediately provide additional details of her arrest. Authorities did say they found several weapons inside the residence. So she was the original reporter, and whatever the deal was, and it may be false report. It may be obstruction of justice if she knows the guy's whereabouts and she didn't give it up, or whatever. But SWAT responds. Downtown LA shut down for all of Sunday morning for several blocks. They wind up locating some weapons that media are in fact identifying as, quote, assault rifles, close quote. But she winds up being arrested. So them's your doings. That's your downtown LA report. That's your gentrification report here for the 28th. So here was the deal. The comedy setup. James Corden hosting the Grammys tonight is the joke here is they need somebody to do the audio, the audio book of the book Fire and Fury, the Trump White House expose that dropped about 2 weeks ago. And so John Legend, Cher, and Snoop Dogg are going to line up and they're going to read passages of Fire and Fury. And the entire point of the joke here is they're just finding an excuse to read embarrassing passages of this book. But wait till you hear the comedy punchline of who reads it at the end. So here's John Legend reading out of Fire and Fury.
Fire and Fury spoken word auditions, take one. Trump won't read anything. He gets up halfway through meetings with world leaders because he is bored.
Cut! Sorry, John. It's wonderful. It just feels a bit too smooth. I don't think it's going to work. Next!
His comb-over...
This is Cher. This is Cher who, if it weren't for Twitter and her 3 million followers, people would not be aware that she's a complete moron. Go Cher. Oh, wasn't Cher speaking? Speak. Oh, did Twitter crash on me? It kind of did. All right. Well, then let me vamp, and then we'll throw it to news. But when we get this back, Cher is going to read, guess what? An embarrassing passage out of a book that the sales have fallen out. But the whole comedy punchline here at the end, if you can't figure it out, is the final reader of Fire and Fury is Hillary Clinton. And remember, Trump embarrasses himself every time he references the 2016 election because it's over. He won. He's the president. But he brings it up constantly. When the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia is standing there, whatever. Trump spikes the football on 2016 constantly because he's a little boy, right? So he mocks himself pretty well. But no, that's not good enough for the music industry. They're going to do this cutting edge comedy because it's so edgy to mock a Republican president. Remember the career wasteland that was the Bush presidency and the entertainment industry. Boy, if you were in the entertainment industry and you spoke out against George W. Bush, wow, your career was over. Wow, there was a real blacklist going on there. That was the bravest thing you could ever do at the Oscars, is say Bush equals Hitler. Wow, you had the mark of Cain on you on that one. And then for 8 years, Hollywood was absolutely silent about presidential politics. And then over the past year, they've doubled down. So anyway, when we come back, a little more of this hilarious comedy bit where celebrities read from Fire and Fury on the Grammys. We'll be back right after this. Brian Suits in here, Super Hyper Local Sunday, in here till 10 p.m. with all the local news, KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk. Michael Chappé with the news.
You know what's funny?
What the fuck?
Or ironic, maybe, I don't know. It's just stupid. Because Hillary Clinton, she's reading this thing. But I remember back when the Lewinsky scandal had happened, on MTV they had a special where they had celebrities reading the testimony from Bill Clinton's courtroom.
Yeah.
The car, the penetration shit, and now she's so happy to go ahead and do it to...
Yeah, in 98, I remember that.
Yeah, 98, that's right.
All right, I'm going to record this. So I can replay it and not fuck it up. Come on, where the fuck did it go? Ah, there we go. All right.
Anything. He gets up halfway through meetings with world leaders because he is bored.
Okay.
Sorry, John. It's wonderful. It just feels a bit too smooth. I don't think it's going to work. Next!
His comb-over, semicolon. The color was a product called Just for Men. The longer it was left on, the darker it got. Impatience resulted in Trump's orange blonde hair color.
Cut!
Trump did not enjoy his own inauguration. He started to get angry and hurt that stars were determined to embarrass him. I definitely wasn't there.
Cut. Spoken word, Cardi B.
If Trump was not having his 6:30 dinner with Steve Bannon...
It paused. Why did it do that?
I definitely wasn't there.
Cut. Spoken word, Cardi B.
If Trump was not having his 6:30 dinner with Steve Bannon, then more to his liking, he was in bed by that time with a cheeseburger. Why am I even reading this? I can't believe this. I can't believe that he really. This is how he lives his life?
He reprimanded the housekeeping staff for picking up his shirt from the floor. If my shirt is on the floor, it's because I want it on the floor. Another one. It's We the Best. It's DJ Khaled. Matter of fact, this is the best spoken word album in the game. I'm finally gonna win my Grammy.
So this isn't gonna work. Next!
It's not gonna work. Everything I do works.
Stand by. Take one.
He had a long-time fear of being poisoned. One reason why he liked to eat at McDonald's. Nobody knew he was coming, and the food was safely pre-made.
That's it. We've got it. That's the one.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
The Grammy's in the bag?
In the bag.
Comedy bits.
I definitely wasn't there.
Cop.
I definitely wasn't there.
Cut. Spoken.
I definitely wasn't there.
Cut.
I definitely. I definitely wasn't there. I definitely wasn't there.
Cut. Spoken word. Cardi B.
I have no idea who Cardi B is, but goddamn, she sounds retarded. Cardi B sounds dumb as fuck.
Yeah, dude. You heard that? That's the 80s song you were talking about?
Oh, Havana?
No, that one that you won for tonight with Bruno Mars?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or do you mean just when she's talking, she sounds...
No, when she's trying to read.
Oh.
We believe in earning your business every day. That's why we deliver over 99.9% network reliability and don't believe in contracts. Don't have them, won't make you sign one. That's right. Spectrum Business, the provider of the best internet, voice, and TV
You want to get your buffer again?
Yeah.
We got a couple of minutes here.
No contracts to get our best price. No contracts to get the fastest internet starting speeds. No contracts to get advanced business voice. And if your current provider has you... So what are you waiting for? Take control and find out what it's like to work with a company that will earn...
Sing at all. They call me Stace. Sing at all, but with nothing to consider, they forget my name. Hey.
You'll get the best internet and voice for your business with no contracts. Restrictions apply.
1 minute.
The show is flying, man.
I know. So, yeah, I went and saw Hostiles. And I love a good Western, like Silverado or Unforgiven and all that. And it's really good. It's extremely good. But it is a Debbie Downer.
Mumbling aside, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great movie. You should see it if you like Westerns. You go see it.
Yeah.
But that was like my first takeaway was speak the fuck up. And they offer those closed caption. I don't know how they do it, but I mean, there were parts of the movie that were unintelligible. I mean, like plot points, like shit you needed to know.
I can see that. That's Christian Bale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that happening with him. But across the board.
Really good, technically really good. There were like one or two problems that I had with it, but yeah, that was like a basic Hollywood thing. You don't need to be a historical expert to get the sound right. Just get the goddamn sound right.
Wouldn't it be nice if there was some cash in it for you? Well, now there is. Kind of. Monday through Friday from 5:20 a.m. to 6:20 p.m. Listen every hour on the 20s for the keyword. Then just text in the keyword to 200-200 and you could win $1,000 just for staying informed. Well, that's amazing.
12 Strong is kind of crap. Read the book, The Horse Soldiers. It's very Hollywood.
They call me Hell. They call me Stacy. They call me her. They call me Jane. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name.
KFI AM 640 more stimulating talk. It is Super Hyper Local Sunday. Brian Suits in here till 10 p.m. live until Coast to Coast takes over. They come high-stepping their way in here and take over the airwaves until 5 a.m. here on KFI. Then it's Jennifer Jones-Lee with Wake Up Call. So stay tuned. Stay up all night. I don't care if you work tomorrow. Not my problem. So anyway, the Grammys tonight, the comedy bit was they were auditioning someone to narrate the audiobook of Fire and Fury, the Trump White House book that dropped 2 weeks ago. And so before the thing froze up on me, Snoop, a dog, who is a rapper and who got away with a shooting, he's reading it. Then he hands it over to Cardi B, who is the flavor of the month in the music industry. Absolutely forgettable artist. She's going to be a trivia question in about 18 months. But anyway, they have her attempt to read the book. But here's Snoop. Then it goes Cardi B. And then the comedy punchline.
Semicolon.
Oh, this is Cher.
The color was a product called Just for Men. The longer it was... Impatience resulted in Trump's orange blonde hair color.
Trump did not enjoy his own inauguration. He started...
I should point out, this isn't Cher anymore. This is Snoopy Doggy Dog Dog, who is a rapper from the LBC. So now here's Cardi B, who apparently is in the running for this year's Nobel Prize for economics. Yeah, no. I said the 2 street fish tacos. Let's go back to Cardi B. I just love it when people who are default millionaires because they have a single or two, and who are absolutely forgettable, are held up now as our virtue signaling female artist. Oh, yeah. So just in case you're still laughing over that, let me set this up now. At this point, this is DJ Khaled. He's a judge now not on American Idol. He's a judge on some NBC music talent show. Yeah, DJ Khaled. You probably have never heard anything he's ever produced or done. Maybe your kids have. Oh, by the way, his stage name was Arab Attack until 9/11, and he's it's not the voice. Yeah. And he's a Palestinian DJ. But here's DJ Khaled reading from Fire and Fury. It's still Cardi B. What a sick burn so far. Wow. Well, I bet Trump is steaming when he hears all this comedy. So here's the punchline. Now, Hillary Clinton, who has never visited Wisconsin in search of votes, is now going to read from Fire and Fury, the Trump White House book. And the punchline, the comedy here is that Trump won, but she's not hanging on or anything. See, it's Hillary. And, of course, the crowd went wild because they all voted for Hillary and the whole thing, and so all that. And it's such a burn because Trump is the president and no one likes him. And so Hollywood, again, taking a very, very brave stand with their anti-Trump stance. Well, this could be one of the best moves for Los Angeles homelessness. And it's got nothing to do with Eric Garcetti or the LA City Council. It has to do with what Stockton is about to do. Stockton is going to begin an experiment with the so-called universal basic income. In other words, free money. The mayor of Stockton, Michael Tubbs, told public radio in the Bay Area, quote, I think Stockton is absolutely ground zero for a lot of the issues we are facing as a nation. Stockton is one of many Bay Area cities on the fringe of the wealth accumulating in Silicon Valley and San Francisco. The Central Valley city went bankrupt in 2012, and for decades it has been trying to diversify its agriculture and scumbag-based economy. The mayor said, I feel that as mayor, it's my responsibility to do all that I can to begin figuring out what's the best way to make sure that folks in our community have a real economic floor. So the floor is $500 a month, no strings attached. So attention homeless people in LA, go to Stockton immediately. Tubbs is considering coordinating an effort to test a new way to sustain residents, the Universal Basic Income, or UBI. For 1 year, several dozen Stockton families will get $500 a month, no strings attached. I lived in Modesto for a little over 2 years. I know Stockton extremely well, in fact, entirely too well. It's a great place to dump anyone you don't like. It's the result of a lost bet. Stockton is a dump. It is a pure dump. Absolute, unmitigated dump. Have you ever heard the poem Casey at the Bat? The Mudville Nine? World famous baseball poem. The iconic spoken word poem for the Great American Game. Do you know what Mudville is? It's Stockton. I'm not making that up. It was written by a San Francisco Chronicle columnist who was a friend of what's his name? Citizen Kane. What am I thinking of? Of the real William Randolph Hearst.
The real guy.
He was a buddy of Hearst at Harvard, and he wrote Casey at the Bat. Stockton, as it turns out, since the late 1870s, has been a dump. It's the delta of the Sacramento River, and it was to be avoided at all costs. However, they're going to give a universal basic income. It was the epicenter of the foreclosures. Busloads of Chinese were flying in looking to get residence here in the U.S., and they were going to Stockton to buy all these foreclosed houses. And by the way, someone points out on the live stream, and unsheep yourself, it's not the Bay Area, it's Central Valley. And I absolutely endorse that. Modesto and Stockton are not the Bay Area. However, this is what's so crazy about Stockton. The Bay Area is so freaking expensive that people will go over the hill. They'll go over Altamont Pass and then put it neutral to get to Stockton, because that is how expensive, Livermore is. When I worked in Modesto, I wound up living in Modesto, but I started in Livermore. I thought, I'll just drive to work every morning. And I did, but it was so expensive. And then I said, well, you know what? I'll split the difference and I'll go find a place in Stockton. Total mistake. It is really California's epicenter dump, Stockton. There's nothing going for it. I mean, absolutely nothing. And you know what their self-identifier is? California's Sunrise Seaport, because it's actually a seaport city. But if you go there, and if we start shipping our homeless there, if this works out, Stockton is experimenting with a no-catch, no strings attached, $500 a month as a universal basic income. What can you do with $500 a month except get in trouble? You're better off making zero. But for $500 a month, you can maybe fill your tank twice a week for a month. And I'm not making that up. With 87 octane at $3.49 here in Burbank, which is ridiculous. But anyway, tell your local homeless people to get to Stockton quickly, very, very quickly. When we come back to the latest in the movies and my backhanded endorsement for the movie Hostiles, and we'll see how that did in its wide opening here. We'll wrap up the movie weekend right after this. It is Super Hyperlocal Sunday. Brian Toots in here until 10 p.m. on KFI, AM 640. More stimulating talk. Michael Chapé with the news.
Chicago newsman Jim Kirk's going to be the new editor-in-chief of the LA Times. The move expected to be officially announced tomorrow. Kirk, who's 52.
Yeah, lots of violence in Stockton. Like the weekend I moved to the Central Valley, there's all these Cambodian and Laotian gangs in Stockton. And a kid, I mean, no shit, like a 9-year-old kid took a weapon out of a cop's belt and stuck it under his vest.
Ooh.
And shot him in the abdomen.
9 years old?
And fucking 9-year-old kid just pulls a weapon out and goes bang, bang. and the cop lived, but it was like 9-year-olds.
Wow.
And the dog fighting and shit in Modesto and Stockton
Really? It's one of those towns?
is just insane. Modesto is just it's like a way station for Nareños and Serreños and MS-13
Yeah.
and all that shit. I lived in a great neighborhood. I lived a couple blocks away from where George Lucas grew up. And it was kind of cool. But I had a break in. I used to have a handgun under my pillow, and kids. I mean, the neighbors said they were kids. Kids came in. They didn't toss my place. They just came in and looked under the pillow, looked in drawers, and they walked out with a gun. And the gun was used in a robbery like 2 years later.
Wow.
And it was dropped. And it was a Tanfoglio TZ-75 with which was an ambidextrous gun. It had a left-hand friendly safety and mag release. As a lefty, you got to have that. American Graffiti was supposed to be Modesto, not Stockton. I want to say it was filmed in Fresno, but George Lucas grew up in Modesto, and I did the morning show at Rock 104 in Modesto, and yeah, so it still was. There is a main drag in Modesto. In Modesto, there's great little areas of it, but it's still fucking Modesto. Filmed in San Rafael? That's bullshit. Fuck you, Russell. It wasn't filmed in San Rafael. Dick.
American Graffiti?
Yeah. I forget. I thought it was filmed in Fresno or Bakersfield. Yeah, I think it's Modesto. Well, I know that some of it was shot in the valley, like at Mills Drive-In. There were some scenes, shot at Van Nuys Airport and all that. But a lot of it was shot in. It sure as shit wasn't shot in San Rafael.
It might have been.
Oh, really? Oh, then Russell, I apologize unreservedly. Turns out it was filmed in San Rafael. You're still a dick, though. Oh, I got to replay that asshole teacher.
Yeah, bring it full circle. Back he's getting crushed on his Twitter page.
Oh, really? He's got a...
He has a Twitter page. He hasn't posted anything new since September of last year, but everyone's just commenting on that most recent photo. Just laying it on him.
How many P-51s, plural? How many P-51s did your dad have, Jolene? Oh, good for him. Did he race them in Reno or something? Really? How come we're not married? I forgot. Is it because we've never met? He had a Yak, like a Yak 9 or the Yak, the Aerobat Yak, the Yak 52. Dude, Wayne, I lived in Reno. I lived in Reno for 3 years. Of course, I broadcast from the air races. Yeah, the Yak 52. Okay. All right, last bumper. Who has the winning suggestion? What's Broadsword? No, I'll play. Is Broadsword a good song? Who does it? Oh, Jethro Tull.
Cough returns.
How much time?
12 hours, so.
Looks like I'm good all night. What?
How long? Oh. Oh. I'm gonna do Just Like Heaven. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk, super hyper local Sunday. Brian Suits here one last time. And wrapping up the show, we got the Who Won the Weekend at the box offices and other stuff. And real quickly, because we've put Have You Seen a Deer on hiatus, as far as Have You Seen a Free Couch, I can say, if we go around the horn here, I can say yes, Valencia. And it was a pretty high-end couch. I got to say, I think it was Friday afternoon, Valencia, Santa Clarita, McBean Parkway, at the edge of some nice apartments. Free, just the word free. The sign was well lettered, too. And, because face it, when they take spray paint and they misspell the word free, I don't want anything to do with that couch. There's meth embedded in the couch.
The backwards R, maybe.
Yeah, but when it's nice script and it was clearly like a woman's handwriting, and it was a nice couch, 3-cushion couch, and it said free. And I'm like, why am I driving an Altima? What a bummer. So anyway, that was my encounter with a Have You Seen a Free Couch? Joey Murata, couch.
Yes, I did actually. I can't believe it. I saw one. I'm house sitting for Marvez, who is one of our other hosts, and she got some new furniture. Gave away her other one, and guess what happened to those furnitures? The furniture she used to have. Yeah, it's free. It's free now.
Really?
Yeah. So this is Hollywood Tower area.
Is she not on the email system? Why is she not alerting us to this?
I know. My bad. Bad producer. I know.
I would trust furniture from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, and I would definitely sit on it. I think that should be the next question is would you sit on the free couch? Because that's a whole nother thing,
Yeah. Josh Saylor from the West Valley. Any free furniture of any form whatsoever? Can we get an address? This is super hyper local Sunday. Can we have an address, please? Or a general directions. Get on 101 past Thousand Oaks. What? Okay, West Hills. Okay. Okay, but there's a free cabinet in that region if you. All right, Michael Chappé, any furniture items whatsoever, at no cost. And I can also report that now now going on nearly 4 weeks, there's an abandoned TV off of 90th West near between Avenue I and Avenue H, way out in the Delcer area, and there's an ottoman on the 210 in Sylmar. So, and it's been here. Last I checked, it was last Tuesday when I diverted on the 210. As far as I know, that ottoman is still there. So, folks, there is furniture all around the Southland. And, hey, there's a free airplane on the 55. So there's that. No, I'm sorry. They are claiming it. It was landed safely, so they are all good. All right, at the box office, this Maze Runner thing, the third part, The Death Cure. Finally, Jumanji's been unseated. Maze Runner is number one over the weekend. The Maze Runner Death Cure made over 23 million, but Jumanji is still kicking ass. And Hostiles, the Scott Cooper gritty western Hostiles, starring Christian Bale and Rosamund Pike, rode into 2,800 theaters, and it placed number 3. And they got some of my money. And if you're into westerns, go see it. It is really, really good. My problem, and this is literally a technical problem from a radio guy, is look, the budget, it's Hollywood, you're all experts. Why did the people mumble? Why are people mumbling important plot points in the first 20 minutes of the movie? Here's the trailer. And Christian Bale, who, I get it, when he's Batman, where's the girl? I get it. You're Batman. You're still screaming, but you're mumbling. No, drop her. Whatever. But here, Christian Bale is a U.S. Army cavalry captain.
The Army wants to be certain that the chief gets home to Montana safely without incident.
You have any idea what he shot?
What? That's racist. Again, this is Christian Bale speaking his lines early in the movie. These are important plot points.
Safely without incident.
Not this part. This part.
You have any idea what he shot?
Huh? And I'm in the theater. And I just paid $11.
Well, in his defense, he's got like a pretty huge mustache going on there. It's kind of.
Well, I do too. I do too, and I'm on the radio. But this is Christian Bale delivering his lines, and he's going, "Yeah, well, Indian. What is it? What? So anyway, I don't know. And, I mean, I backfilled. After 2 hours of movie, I figured out what he said because of what he did in the movie. But it is really good. It's authentic. If you love Westerns, you have to see Hostiles. It's terrific. But, I mean, I was throwing crap at the screen. I was so angry. And I didn't get it. It's like, does anyone in the production company ever turn to each other and go, I'm not getting this. I'm not, I'm sure, I'm sure this is very heavy dialogue. Shouldn't we be hearing this? Yeah, so that happened, and that was the number 3 film. And the guy who it's at the very beginning of the trailer from the director of what did he do? He did Into Out of the Furnace, a bunch of Christian Bale movies. Scott Cooper, who did Out of the Furnace, a couple of. I mean, by the way, it was well directed. It was beautiful scenery, beautifully shot, the whole thing. Again, the problem is this sound engineer either slept with someone for the job. I have the feeling that the sound engineer is a 17-year-old Filipino orphan, female orphan, about 5'9". I'm not sure. I don't know, but yeah. So the sound engineer should not get an Oscar in any way, shape, or form. So there's that. All right, so that Pico Rivera councilman is going to get lambasted all day long and probably all week long. And I'll tweet out his email address, the guy who is bad-mouthing the American military, the whole thing. You'll hear about that. And also, the State of the Union is Tuesday, so that's going to be your next week. And I will see you back here next week for Super Hyperlocal Sunday. Thanks to producer Joey Murata, Josh Saylor, the technical director Michael Chappé with all the airplane crashing news. That and more. See you back here next week on KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk. All right. All right. See you on this channel maybe Monday or Tuesday. And the live show is in Hollywood on Wednesday, Orange on Thursday.